Hey guys, Nick Angelis here, CRNA, part of the Fresh RN team. The first important thing I need to tell you is that machine right there is some sort of like fat burner. I got at a garage sale for like $10. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I can concentrate on teaching you stuff. So as the critical thinking module, this first part is about assessment. And most of these teachings we've been telling you, look at the patient, don't look as much at the monitors, and don't get distracted by all the gizmos like the fat burning machine over there. But sometimes there's clues from the monitors. For instance, your SpO2 tracing, if the wave goes down, this isn't working at all, I'm trying to show you waves. I'm terrible at charades. Let's try it again. Okay, so if the wave kind of undulates where it goes down when they inhale and then it heads back up as they exhale, that's a sign of dehydration. Also, your EKG tells you things much more quickly than everything else because, of course, it's electricity. It's like that. While your pleth might be 15 seconds delayed, obviously your blood pressure takes a while. So that's one. Ooh, I just got a text. Okay. So again, this is all about focusing. But the real lesson I have for you today is that sometimes your cutoffs are arbitrary. Think of the phrase 8 cups of water a day. If you really do your research, sometimes there really isn't proof that you need to drink 8 cups of water a day. Another example would be whether you have 20 cc's of urine for the hour. Well, maybe the next hour you'll have 40. Maybe it's a small person that doesn't pee that much. Or maybe you've got that 30 cc's of urine every hour and you're doing great. But it's a 100-kilogram man that has all these issues and is there for some sort of fasciitis or some sort of it's hard to say rhabdomyolysis when you're on video. Sorry about that. So you really have to look at the patient. Now, I probably haven't discussed this before in these other videos because I think this is the first or second I'm doing. I don't know. What you really need to know is that the longer my beard, the more important the video is. So right here, this is like what, half a day's growth. It's not really that important. So where was I? Oh yeah, the urine example. So it really depends on the patient. Now obviously you have protocols in place. Maybe it's call a physician if this happens or if that happens, because no one has time to think, well, let's think of this patient individually here. Because you have a lot of patients, you don't have much time. If you did have enough time, then you wouldn't have bought this course. You would have saved your money and bought several meals at the hospital cafeteria. Yeah, this was probably a better idea. So another thing would be that as we treat patients individually, well, you have to look at both their sick history and their well history. You know, I already talked about urine. Well, maybe they only were making this much urine an hour in the ER. Or maybe in the ER, the blood pressure was 90/40. You know, we're consistent with what the patient has been. Well, yeah, but remember they came to the ER because they were sick. So we really don't want them to stay sick. Whether it's consistent or not, if it's unhealthy, if it's not a good parameter, then that's different. Oh, I remember what I was talking about. So I have a history of alternative medicine, functional medicine, these different philosophies that often feel that normal isn't always normal. The classic example is the patient who takes their Synthroid every morning and they're still overweight, they still feel cold. Their labs are normal, but the actual function of the endocrine system, how T3, T4, all those hormones work together, still isn't something that functionally is working for them. So sometimes we'll see that in medicine too. It doesn't take some sort of alternative philosophy to realize, yeah, maybe your blood pressure is normal or this is normal, but there's something not normal. So on the one aspect, yeah, sometimes something's abnormal and it's not really that big of a deal. It's just your narrow-minded mindset of, oh, I have to report this, or oh, this is a big problem. And in the big scheme of things, whether you're looking at things in the context of what happened this shift or even, you know, what happened during these 2 hours, it's not that big of a deal. The more dangerous thing is when something looks normal, no one's going to fault you for that map of 65, but in this particular patient, this could be trouble. So that's why sometimes it's like, I don't remember if the lung sounded like that a few hours ago. One way to enhance your critical thinking is when you're getting a report, just write down a little note, something like, oh, their lungs are important. You know, as I auscultate, let me really focus on remembering what they sound like. Or, okay, these pedal pulses aren't really a big deal like this nurse thinks they are because this patient came in for abdominal pain. And I guess theoretically, if there's a mesentery artery infarction, And then the pulses in your feet, yeah, it's important, but it's not something that you need to write down, because obviously all these patients are sick and we could write down all sorts of things, and report could be a literal nurse drama hour, and that's not exactly what we're going for. Yeah, that's all I got for that one.